Let's talk about the 10 steps to the speech making process. So, in public speaking, I have developed a 10-step process that, when followed, generally reveals and renders a very good speech. But each step has to be completed. The first step is purpose or goals. What's my purpose? What are my goals for this speech? Am I trying to inform? And am I trying to be objective and bring new information and educate? Am I trying to persuade where I want to change beliefs, ideas, attitudes, and behaviors? Am I trying to entertain and simply be funny? Or maybe a combination of the three? So, with your purpose or goals, once you know what your purpose or goals are, that will help you to shape your speech towards that end. Second step, audience analysis. With audience analysis, you want to think about the group that you're going to be speaking to before you speak to them. So you start thinking about the demographic information, you think about the politics of the room, the setting, the context. And so audience analysis happens well before you speak to a given group. And then you continue to analyze as you continue on. Step 3 is topic selection. This is where I think a lot of students get stuck. And so they want to find the perfect topic when really there's no such thing as a perfect topic. As long as the topic meets the purpose or goals and it meets the audience analysis and you're interested in it, it should be a good topic. So if this group is going to find this topic persuasive and they're interested in that topic, and I'm also interested in that topic, then it should be a good persuasive topic. So I say choose a topic, run it by an expert like your teacher, and then go with it. Fourth step is brainstorming, and this is the step that students oftentimes miss. So, with brainstorming, it's old school on paper where you write down every possible idea that you could cover about a given subject area, and then you narrow it down using a pattern. So you take your subject area, scuba diving, and you think about all the different things you could cover about scuba diving. So with scuba diving, we could talk about the gear and the risks and the training and the locations and the types of diving and how Hollywood portrays it and experiences. I get to talk about my dad. We'll talk about that in the next video. We could talk about the expense of diving. We could talk about all kinds of things, the mythology behind it, the ancient history, the future of scuba diving compared to space. So there's all kinds of things that we could talk about scuba diving. So we want to brainstorm that list out to then narrow it down to a 3-step speech pattern or process. And so by brainstorming out a topic area, it gives us keywords to cover and it gets our minds thinking about these subjects in different areas before we get bogged down with research. Please note that step 4 brainstorm happens before you research. At this step, the most research I would really do is maybe a Wikipedia. All right, let me tell you, you don't want to cite Wikipedia in a speech ever or a paper. It's really not a good source unless the paper or speech is about Wikipedia. But in general, it's not a good source, but it's a great source to give you some keywords and ideas as you're working on that brainstorm list. So that's where you use ChatGPT or the wiki in order to get some ideas flowing. That's step 4, brainstorm. Then you narrow down to an outline. Using a pattern that I will teach you, you narrow from this list and jumble of information and you narrow it down to 3 main points. We'll discuss in this class how 3 main points is pretty ideal for most public speeches. And so by narrowing it down to 3 main points, we can be in time and we can keep our audience interest. That's step 5, narrowing using a pattern. Step 6 is then researching, which we'll cover in next video, where we research using academic search engines to find good, credible research to back up our ideas. 7 is finalizing the outline and works cited. 7 is finalizing the outline and the works cited. 8 is making your note cards. 9 is practice, and 10 is play. So by following these 10 steps, you should be able to have a good speech.